everyone. Today is February 15th, 2024, and the time is 10:15. This meeting of the Animal Control Board is called to order. I will begin by taking the roll call of all the board members. Megan Laundrie,
Present.
President Veronica Johns,
Present.
President Counselor Edwards,
Present.
President Officer Flemings, absent, and President Camille Nelson. Also in attendance are Heather Callahan, Attorney Shuchek, and Renee Robichaud from Animal Control. There is one item on the agenda, and that is for a nuisance dog for 27. Then I just had my paperwork right here. 27 Sylvester Street. Owner, Mr. Seller. The dangerous dog hearing was requested by TJO. The complainants will given 10 minutes for presentation of their case. Question by members of the Animal Control Board shall be made only after each proponent has spoken. The respondent will then be given 10 minutes for presentation of their opposition. Question by board of the Animal Control Board shall be made only after each respondent has spoken. After the complainant and the respondent have completed their argument, each side shall be allowed 5 minutes in rebuttal time in the same order as above. The hearing is now open, and we will hear from
Swearing in.
Can I have everyone raise their right hands, please? Do you declare and affirm that the evidence that you are about to give is true and the whole truth? So help you God?
Yes.
Okay, put your hands down, please. And we will now hear from Animal Control, Renee.
I requested this hearing following the original hearing where the dog was deemed a nuisance and ordered to be leashed when outside of her home, even on her property, and muzzled and leashed when off of the property. Since that time, I've received probably 15, 20 videos from Miss Arroyo, from a video camera that is on the doorbell of the property across the street of the dog either being walked off leash on her property or being walked on leash off a property with no muzzle. We've also received several complaints from other neighbors via phone calls where, people are, they act tough or they act not afraid, but they're living in fear of this dog who is perpetually either allowed to roam freely or being walked off of a leash despite her muzzle order, or being walked without a muzzle despite her muzzle order. The dog also remains, to my knowledge, unlicensed. So, there's a lot going on here with the compliance to the original orders that were given. And I thought a revision or revisiting was an appropriate task at that time. Most of the videos were sent in advance for the review of the committee. I received more after that original set were sent. I don't know how many videos of the same thing you want to see, but I did receive more after that. We have cited on a number of occasions for the dog violating her leash order and muzzle order, so.
Was the dog approached by any of your staff? I remember.
At one of the events, I asked one of our officers to go out to speak. And the dog rushed out at him. He was already partway up the property, so he could not make a reasonable retreat. So he just kind of had to stand his ground and, but she was out in the front yard off of a leash. and ran out to greet him. And, you know, obviously there's no sound, it's a distant video, so it's hard to see the details, but, you know, he did indicate that had he been closer to the car, he'd have retreated again, but because he was so far up the yard at that point, she'd have caught him before he got back to the car. So running is what people want to do, but is the wrong move in that type of situation. So he just kind of stood his ground and put his foot out a little so that she stepped back a little from him. So.
Okay. We will now hear from Alexa.
Yes, that's me.
Okay. Any questions so far? Go ahead, please.
Okay, so this has been going on for quite a while. I have sent about 26 videos, I think, and the earliest was, I think, yesterday or the day before. This dog, multiple times, has been off leash on property and on leash with no muzzle when going on walks. And I even sent a close-up video when they requested to see if the dog actually had a muzzle, because the video was kind of blurry for on my end when it gets sent to me on my phone. But I sent a close-up of the showing the dog having no muzzle. And I cannot get the mail at all. I have not been able to get my mail for like almost a year now, because the last time that dog chased me, I got hurt, and I cannot go across the street to get my own mail or help my parents get the mail when they are too tired to get it. I have to wait for someone else to get it. So I can't even be near the street without completely freezing up and just fearing the dog is gonna come out at somewhere. Especially since there was times the dog came out from the other side of the house that's closer to a fence that is very hard to see. So I am kind of scared of just going outside to my front yard most of the time. And this is like getting really ridiculous. And I just want something to be done about this.
Thank you, Ms. Arroyo.
Mr. Holmes is also.
Mr. Ohms, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you can go ahead. Mr.
I'm-
Ohms.
I live next door to Mr. Sellers. I am the person that Mr. Sellers trained the dog to attack. I have up a 14-foot fence on my side of the property so the dog cannot see me. Last evening, Mr. Sellers came out of his house, turned the dog loose. The dog lunged at me, although he was on a leash, but he was still lunging at me. The same week, 6 o'clock in the morning, I came home from the gas station. Mr. Sellers turned the dog loose. The dog was over in the ravine, a little ravine where there are weeds. I could not see the dog, but I could hear the dog. I could not get out of my car until Mr. Sellers had taken that dog back in the house. I'd be outside working in my front yard. Mr. Sellers passed by with that dog with no muzzle and waved at me and smiled. I am very afraid to come out of my house. I'm afraid for people to come to my house. I have a 6-foot pipe in my front yard that I have showed the police. I have a pitfall that I have called the police and showed them that I protect myself from that dog. Mr. Sellers' wife do not know half of the problem that I've had with that dog. And every step of the way, he trained the dog to attack me. After he trained the dog to attack me, I spent hundreds of dollars putting up a fence, 3-section, 14-foot fence, so the dog couldn't see me. Then he started demanding money of me with the dog. He started coming to my place of work. I had a restraining order put against him. He was using that dog to intimidate me. I also called the police last week, and the police said call animal control. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your testimony. Mr. Seller? Mrs. Seller, pardon me. Mrs. Seller,
Yes,
you have 10 minutes.
first of all, we've had this dog for 4 years. And like Mr. Holmes just said, I don't know a lot of stuff that happened. My husband has dementia. Everybody's supposed to know this by now. I don't believe he trained the dog to attack nobody. And if one of you come to the house, my dog is not vicious like that. For the past 4 years, nobody had an issue until we had an issue with our neighbors. Then all of a sudden now they're attacking the dog. So like I said, I reached out to animal control a couple of times myself to get some kind of help with this dog. I don't know what else to do. I really don't. But I honestly can say my husband has not trained the dog to attack nobody. Cause she's not vicious like that. And if you walk up to her, yes, she's going to growl. She's a freaking dog. But once you keep walking towards her, she's gonna jump on you and lick you and want you to pet her and all that stuff. She doesn't attack people. I'm done.
Thank you, Mrs. Seller. Um, we'll know the rebuttal. Ms. Arroyo, do you have anything further to say?
Yes, I do. For one, that dog, we've been having problems with this neighbor for many years, even before the dog came to the issue. So
That's a lie.
because of her, because of them, having my stepbrother asking them to be in court. So this has been a problem for many years, even before the dog, because of them. So I just want to point that out. We've had 150 and over hundreds of calls from these people, from Mr. Charles, having the police harass us, using the police to harass my family, and especially in the middle of the night with them having their spotlights come and shine in their house. So I just want to point out, we've been having problems because of this man. And I would like to point out, we were told by the police that someone is supposed to be watching Mr. Sellers, because of his dementia. Therefore, by extension, his dog as well. Because we were told that because he is a dangerous man, that he's also, that he needs to be watched when the wife is not home. And when he's not watched, that means his dog also needs to be watched by that same different person who is watching Mr. Sellers. Because this is a dangerous man, and I am feared for my fucking life with this man.
Oh, Mrs. Smith Arroyo,
Sorry.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just, like, this is a dangerous dog. It has attacked someone. It's just that the person down the street just does not want to get involved. So it has bitten someone. They just don't want to get involved, which sucks on our end. And I know it's not going to count. But I just want to make that clear. It has bitten someone, and my father has seen Charles Sellers make hand gestures to control that dog. We know he can control that dog because my dad has seen him make hand gestures and sounds to make that dog stop at the edge of his property before he can leave. So he does have control of that dog. And I just want someone needs to watch Mr. Sellers more properly and an extension the dog, because that counts. Because he is a dangerous man. Okay. I'm just getting sick and tired of this.
Thank you, Ms. Arroyo.
Okay.
Mr. Holmes, you have 5 minutes for rebuttals.
All I have left to say is that the last 3 years of my life has not been quality of life. It's been quality of fear. And no one should live like that with a person that has a dog and use a dog to intimidate people.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Sellers?
I have nothing else to say.
Boards, do you have any questions?
No.
I'd just like to know, and this may not be the right time, with the ACO that went out and the dog charged at him, what was the response? Was the dog trying to bite them? Was it just doing the greeting and not trying to bite? Does a dog charge you? Typically they're gonna bite. I just like to know what happened at that
So-
visit.
He's not here to speak on his own behalf, but my understanding was that it was not a friendly greeting.
Okay.
And there's previous videos from the last hearing showing the dog chase both an animal control officer and sheriff's deputies off the property.
The certified letter wasn't delivered.
And the original certified letter wasn't delivered from the post office due to animal in the yard.
Okay, thank you.
Any further question from the board? Any recommendations? We'll now close this part of the hearing and the board will now deliberate.
Recommendation from TJO.
I think that the appropriate thing, if they're not going to confine the animal safely, would be to deem it dangerous and have it removed.
Um. So, I'm not sure if all the board members heard TJO recommendation is to actually deem the dog dangerous. What are the board's thoughts on that?
I have a problem with that the order was made by the board and it wasn't followed. I have no tolerance for not following directions. If you love your dog, you make sure that it never gets out again to chase anyone. I wasn't at the last meeting. I don't need to be, because it's basically, I saw the videos where the dog was still out and I couldn't tell whether it had a muzzle or not. I may not have agreed with the muzzle unless there was an actual dog bite, but it's past that. It's to the point that there's non-compliance with the order. So I would feel the dog has to be removed. Euthanized, I'm not sure we need to talk about that.
Motion to,
I would like, a board member to make a motion to deem the dog as dangerous. Anyone?
Second,
On the motion, Counselor Edwards,
yes.
Counselor Board Member Johns,
yes.
Megan Laundry
Yes.
and Camille Nelson, yes. Officer Clemens, absent. The motion has passed to, deem the dog as dangerous. On the dangerous votes,
No conditions, I believe. Have to have with it.
yes, okay, thank you. So, we'll hear from Attorney Schultz as far as we are then redeem the dog as dangerous. What are our options?
It really gives you a lot of options. There's lists, there's 8 lists of options you can have, and there's also you can just do anything you would like. Number 1 is the dog be humanely restrained, which we already have ordered on that dog. The dog be confined to the owner's premises, which again, you already have ordered on this dog. Whenever the dog's removed from premises, that'd be securely, humanely muzzled and restrained, which again, you already ordered on him. The other is if it's not neutered, to be neutered. The other option is neuter constructed in 2 weeks from the date of decision to secure enclosure for the dog. You can also transfer ownership to someone else who can take care of the dog better at a different residence.
No.
And also, obviously humanely euthanize.
Not once, yeah,
or any order that the hearing deems appropriate, hearing committee deems appropriate. So literally anything you'd like. But those are a few recommendations from the ordinance.
You have to say it, so what you, if it's deemed, I don't believe you can transfer a
No,
dangerous.
you can, oh,
No.
sorry, not be transferred. I
Yes,
missed the
yes,
not.
okay.
Yes.
I,
Yeah,
that
no
would have
problem.
been bad. I apologize. I
But
apologize.
the TJL's, I assume your recommendation is that you collected the animal. And then you can make your own assessment as to whether or not it's, you doing your in-house assessment.
Yeah.
Okay, then yes, that's the recommendation that I think the committee would like to follow.
And that would be, I'm trying to think of what item that is.
Should be
Second.
impoundment of the dog.
What?
Eight or nine, Bill, that'd be 8 or 9. Any other order would be that it'd be giving a, review by the,
So but that'll be 8 and 9?
that'd be reviewed by TJL, and if it's deemed dangerous, then it could be euthanized. 8.
What is the procedure for impoundment?
Ideally, the owners would come and bring the dog and sign over paperwork. If they are not amenable to that, then we would probably have to get a warrant and remove it, which is a lot more stressful for the dog.
Okay.
So ideally, they would just bring her and sign over the paperwork.
So you understand what's has transpired
Mhm.
and yes, I think at this point, your conversation probably needs to be with TJO and how the dog gets surrendered. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to have to, that this has come to this conclusion, but as you kind of saw.
And they're removing the dog from the house.
Gotta move to,
They're taking the dog.
I can't, I'm having problems here.
They're taking the dog. We have to turn the dog over to animal control. They're
Why?
taking the dog.
Why?
Because you continue to not follow the order that was previously given and your neighbors live in fear.
That's when I took this phone off.
You
The dog.
whether it's here or, I mean, I think at this point, our job is done, the committee's job is done.
I will just need a
Yeah.
letter.
And the letter have to be drafted and forwarded to TJO. And you're going to have to communicate whether this is today or now, or probably if you can deal with it now, but
Right.
the work of the board is done. So it's between you guys now.
Is it possible for you to show him these videos? He'll come over here and look.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, the hearing should,
Yeah.
we're
Yes,
done,
it's
the hearing,
closed.
so,
Yeah.
In order.
I make a motion that the
Yeah.
hearing is closed and that we finish.
Okay, and what item was that again for the?
Basically, that it's been reviewed by TJL, to make sure if it's can be adoptable, and if not, it'd be unfortunately euthanized.
Okay, give me 1 second, please. Board members, are we all in favor to have the dog turned over
Watch the
to
videos.
TJO for review and to see if the dog can be put out there for adoption?
Yeah, well,
No.
they make their own assessment. We don't have,
So
to.
they
we
make their
we
own-
don't have to vote on that. All we have to do, we've done everything we
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
do.
I have.
We just have to close the
in the
meeting.
yard.
Okay,
I want you to see the videos.
so I need someone to make a motion to close the meeting.
Motion to close the meeting.
Did everyone
I need a
vote?
second.
Second.
That was.
Second, third.
Yes, we
Okay,
did.
okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
second by,
Frank.
Frank. No, Frank's not.
no. Board member,
Veronica, say yes.
Yes,
okay, we made the motion, right?
Yes.
The hearing is now closed.